In 34b, again, we're going to identify our A, B, C, and D values. We're going to use those to find the pertinent parts of the graph, and then we're going to sketch. From this equation, we get that A is equal to -5, B is equal to pi, C is equal to -1, and there is no D value, or D is equal to 0. Now, from these, we will get our maximum, our midline, our minimum, and our period, so that we are able to graph. Since our midline is 0 and our amplitude is 5, we can add 5 to 0 and get our maximum, subtract 5, and get our minimum. Remember, our period is equal to 2 pi over b, or in this case, 2 pi over pi, which is equal to 2. So we have a period of 2. Now, from this information, we can set up our graph. Now, this is a cosine function. It's also negative, and we see that it's going to shift back 1. That's our phase shift. So it looks like we might want to move these axes just a little bit. So before I get started, let me put that axis right there. Perhaps you can't see that so well. Let me see if I can straighten that up for us. There, that looks a lot better. Now, remember, we have a maximum of 5. Going to draw that in there. We have a minimum of -5. We'll put that in here. Our midline is at 0. Put a dashed line in there. Our period is 2. So let me locate 2 here. Halfway there would be equal to 1. Now, remember, we have a phase shift here, or a C value, of -1. So this thing, instead of going from 0 to 2, it's going to shift back 1 whole unit. So instead of going from 0 to 2, it's going to go from -1 to 1. Now, this is a cosine function, and cosine usually starts up at the top. Because this is negative, we know it's going to start at the bottom. It's then going to hit a middle point, go up to the maximum, hit the middle point again, and go down to the minimum. And let's sketch that in. That would be the resulting graph. Now let's go label everything just to make sure. We wanted to know the amplitude. Well, our A value was equal to -5, but the amplitude is always positive, so our amplitude would be 5. We labeled the phase shift, which is this C value. Our vertical translation would be this D value. There is none. And we have the cosine function, and it was negative.